What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tony Ortiz here, back again with a reaction to the live stream that's going on right here. I would just say that I would strongly recommend tuning into the beige carpet video, which is going to be several of the top content creators talking about what we get in this live stream. It is hosted by Gert, and I will, after it is up, come back to this video and put a link in it. So if you missed that, or you're not subscribed to that classy gentleman, please head on over there and watch that. That's going to usually contain Gert, Senzar, D-Berry, and probably a mystery guest or two. They do not do it live. It is recorded. But if you, for some reason, follow me and don't follow Gert, I will try to circle back and get you that. So you can actually listen to people who are good at this game talk about what's happening. But as you know with me, I'm the everyman. I am the not-so-good player who tries to keep up and, isn't the best at figuring out their own strats. And I rely on the community a lot for, being able to play the game effectively. So while we're just sitting here waiting, I'm just going to run a couple of these little incidentals. And then, if you want to check me out live, there'll be a link in the description below. Check me out on Twitch. Stream every Wednesday night and every Sunday. Wednesday night we do This Week in Brave Exvius, which is a recap show. So if you're not familiar with that, all the videos are here on my channel, and you can go back and I have a big playlist full of them. And some weeks there's nothing to talk about. Some weeks there's a lot to talk about. That varies greatly. And then we try to get that pushed out before maintenance is up. But it's not an effort to teach you how to do anything from that week. It's just more of talking about it. How did we feel about this week? Was the content good? Were the units good? What's coming? Sometimes what we talk about when there's not much to talk about in that week in general. Overall state of the game, how we feel, and so on and so forth. So if you haven't seen any of those, no pressure to go back and watch any, but if you'd like to check those out live, you can check them out Wednesday nights. And if you'd like to watch them back, you should have them up as soon as maintenance starts or slightly before every Wednesday evening on YouTube right here. But I'm doing this because I am fascinated to see what direction the game is going in. I don't think we're going to get the information about what direction the game is going in. But since we're only going to see Hiroki probably 3 times a year. It's going to be anniversary. It's going to be the big collab of the year, which was Nier for last year. And then it's going to be in the stream either in January or February before we get our Lunar New Year banner, which is Chinese New Year. Because that typically does very well in multiple other regions. You have a lot of Chinese people playing the game on their version, which I think is a little bit different. I think it mirrors global, but with the way their laws work and their content, obviously it has to all be self-contained in their country. But, I think what happens is maybe they might be a week or two behind. I don't really know exactly how it works in country. But I will tell you this. A lot of people...
Happy New Year!
A lot of people will be from China, but then they will go to the global regions. North America, South America, Europe. And they will play the global version of the game. And then, they obviously will spend a lot of money on that Lunar New Year banner with units inspired by their culture and so on and so forth. And we usually get something good. So here's Hiroki. Volume's going to go up and down here. I'm going to leave it low for most of it because most of what they're talking about doesn't matter. Because Tony and Justin are cool, nice people. It seems like I would like to hang out with them. However, they don't give us any good information outside of what we're seeing in the slides typically. Anything that's major, there's going to be a big slide for. You don't necessarily have to hear what is being said. But we'll leave them at a medium volume until I hear something interesting, and then we'll turn them down and talk about it, all that. The chat's cut off because we can't trust YouTube chat and anybody moderating the channel. But if I see something funny in chat, I will definitely point it out.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a special custom in Japan. I don't know if other countries do it. Let us know in the comments if there is something similar to that. In Japan, at the very beginning of the year, you draw a fortune slip to see your luck of the year. It tells you how your work is gonna go, your love life.
And I was talking about this before the stream happened. This is
not yet. But maybe this weekend I'm thinking. And usually, yes, you do it at the very.
Japan does their own version. China does their own version of this. Their New Year is their big holiday. So You know, like in North America or South America, you would think about like maybe Christmas being the gigantic holiday where everybody gets together, everybody has off of work and all that. We have a New Year's as well,
Can you hear me
um,
that better, chat? Everybody.
but you know we don't really like celebrate it the same way that Eastern cultures celebrate Lunar New
Let's
Year
try to
or
work that out.
their calendar's New Year
Ready
as
for
like
a
the
voice.
biggest event of the year. So China, um,
Okay.
I think theirs is next month
Better
though.
now?
I think theirs happens in February on their old traditional calendar.
Okay.
That's when their
Okay.
year of the animal flips
All right.
over.
So,
They, you
we
know, they
have
pray to their, you know,
a
gods of
game for
bounty
you,
for good
and the
fortune
best
and
one
luck and all
deserves
that.
luck. So we're gonna get straight into it.
And
But
I believe the
before
Japanese
we
do
do
something
that,
similar,
I
but
just
it's
want to,
not
say
it's
sorry
not
for like
quite
causing
as
a little
literal.
trouble at the
It's more of
beginning
a,
of the
you
live
know,
stream. I think
celebration
the
of culture.
OBS crashed on us.
I'm from
So
North
this is
America.
a
I
little
was not
delay.
taught well in school about
So
Eastern
yeah,
culture.
if you guys
So
like
everything I've learned
so
on my own
there
through
are other people
experience and just looking
still in
stuff
the
up.
last link.
But
If you guys could let
this
them
is a
know as well,
big
that would
thing.
be really
Typically,
grateful.
it's
We're
like
gonna
I
make
said,
another
it's like
post on social
they give the
media as
global
well.
version
But yeah,
the
we're very
Christmas
sorry for
stuff,
that.
which we
So
got basically
let's
nothing
get
this
right
year. We got
into
like
it.
one unit that was
And
okay
the
and
name
a
of
bunch of
the game
garbage. But
is
this is where you can get something decent.
okay. So we have the cream puff roulette. Cream puff roulette. Yes. Okay. So what this is
Oh, okay.
there are
So this is
four
gonna be
cream puffs,
traditional.
and one of them
Hiroki's on the
is
stream. We have to
showstopper.
punish
So
him
one
for
of
his
them
wrongdoing by
is the
making him eat
and
something that he doesn't like.
wasabi cream puff.
So
Yes.
he definitely does not
And
like
then
spicy
using the
stuff. I think
YouTube
they did.
code,
I think they screwed him with
all
spicy
you
ramen the last
are
time he
to
was
pick
on.
one of the options from A
So we have a
to
wasabi
D,
cream
and
puff
they
he's gonna
pick
eat.
is
All
not
right.
wasabi cream puff. So please choose the one
I
that
think this
is
stuff is
not
cute,
the wasabi cream puff.
but
And
this
yeah,
is the
once
kind of
you
stuff that
made it
I
that
would be
far,
doing if the
and then
game was in a very,
get
very
one of
good
the live
state
stream
and people
rewards.
were very
The
happy and we were
wasabi
making
cream
make
puff
lots
is
and
a
lots and
secret
lots of money
avoided
without
option.
trying
So
very
we
hard.
do not want to choose the wasabi
And
cream puff. Yes.
I don't think that
Is that clear?
this
Everybody
makes a whole lot of sense when the game is in such a state of disarray
okay.
to do this
All
kind
right
of stuff.
then. Yes.
I would much rather have
One stop.
just like a
Wait, wait,
straight to business. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about our issues. Let's iron it out.
I
Let's give
didn't
you
know.
confidence in that we know what we're doing and we're gonna do the right thing.
Oh, actually.
And we get a lot of radio silence and we get a lot of goofy shit like this. And I just don't think that it's really
All right.
what
So
the game needs at the moment.
this
I
is
think
the
it's
sample.
fun,
So, basically,
but it's
what
not
supposed to
for
happen
the
is, I don't know if you guys
main info stream. Like,
this is a sample.
and I'm just gonna talk to you about some other stuff while this happens because it doesn't really matter.
This is a
So
sample.
like Warframe is a very good example. Okay, they have what's called their like dev streams where they talk about all the info in the game, what's coming in the patches, what they're rebalancing, what they're thinking about changing, blah 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 blah. And then once like every week or every other week, they have what's called like prime time, which is like where the community managers sit down and play the game with people. They maybe show off some of the new stuff that's actually live. They show off community artwork and community projects and blah blah blah. They separate the fun that the devs and the company has from the actual news streams. The news streams are focused on here's all the stuff that's they cut off the bullshit. They also give a bunch of good shit away
Quick
for
introduction.
watching it with Twitch drops, and then you have like lottery chances to win premium currency.
In charge of the live stream.
So I don't think there's any way to like get 300 lapis for watching this.
Full features for us. She
But
makes
they might just give
designs,
everybody
she makes
300 just for
stuff.
I don't know.
So yes, this is Kina, and then since I'm not going to be the sample,
But this is probably gonna waste like 15 minutes where we're all just sitting here
if it's actually spicy because
not learning any of the new information that we actually all care about.
6-year anniversary.
And again, I don't think this is the right way to spend
Ramen, people were saying that it was
this time.
spicy enough and stuff. So yeah, we're actually going to show you that we have the real stuff in here. So maybe you could try the sample and then yeah, and if you okay, people are saying man, people are saying man up, but okay, and then a lot of comments too. Hello, Kina.
Okay, so like I
Okay,
like wasabi a lot, and it is very hot. It's not spicy though. Like it's not spicy in the way that like
lady for
a lot of Latin spices were.
how is it?
What the Japanese cuisine is very good at doing is very good at adding a bunch of heat without losing flavor, which is admirable. But the thing is like you could take like a good
Yes, yes.
like dollop of wasabi, you could pop it right in your mouth.
This is R.I.P. Kina.
You know, you could eat it. Your sinus is gonna drain. but you could drink like an 8-ounce glass of milk and be like you'll be okay in like half an hour. It's not like peppers, you know. Now, if you get some really old traditional wasabi that's dark green, like like a medium like lime green, the paste is much toned down. If you get like dark green wasabi that's a little bit chewier, that stuff will wreck you. And I don't think that's what's in here, but you know, and none of it really compares to kimchi. Kimchi is so much hotter than wasabi. All right, so now we're being asked to pick the cream puff without wasabi in it. I'm going to go ahead and there's options A through D here. I'm going to go ahead and click D because I would like to give my selection to how good of a year I think that they had. In 2022, I will give them a D, 65%. Solid D. I think that's what their grade is. So I'm going with that. Looks like chat's picking B though. I feared this is what was going to happen. We would just be sitting here for like 20 minutes without any actual game information to talk about. So, I'm not surprised. Nothing much interesting in chat here. People asking for a Sinzar Neo Vision. And V Hiroki. We want Terra's buffs or we all quit. I like that. The thing is when we get Terra's buffs, it's going to be too late, you know. The main issue with the buffs in this game, the reason why people get upset about them skipping buffs is because, and then there goes, oh, well, they'll give them to you eventually. But the problem is like they skip the buff on the 2 weeks where there's a unit or series locked thing that you can do, or they're a bonus unit for the farming, or it's a dark vision or a vision world where you need to farm with them. And then by the time you get the buffs 3 months later, the upgraded unit was never going to be meta, but they were going to be like at the bottom where you could actually bring them to stuff. And by the time you get them, the events are gone for their bonus, and they're also even crept out farther out of the meta or whatever. So like skipping buffs that are already in the game when it's actually hard, like the way that the code has been described to me is that it's actually harder for them to modify stuff that's in there. So adding things to make fixes is easier, apparently. The problem is that if adding things is easier and modifying them is hard, then I don't understand how removing things is easier. Unless like they've compartmentalized the bits of sprints and patches that they do, and then they only take these sprints and patches that are the main things, and then they leave these other things out. And I just don't know. I don't understand if you have a JP build this version XYZ and it has Sephiroth upgrades and this guy in it and this and whatever. And Cloud, say like this is Cloud's banner with Sephiroth upgrades and this and that. I don't understand how they have it set up to where removing Sephiroth's upgrades doesn't take more effort than just leaving it in. Or they have it set up in such a bizarre way that each little bit, like the unit banner is this, and then the upgrades are this, and then the whatever is this. Because they only ever skip the unit upgrades. They don't skip the gear. You could ask the same thing about story events. Like, why would they skip all these story events? Why would they keep skipping story events and over? And it's like, okay, well, it has to be a separate bit that they try to pull into their game, or. And here's my new theory as I was thinking about this. A lot of the excuses for stuff being skipped would be translation. So story events, the reason they said, the reason that we don't bring story events in is because we have to translate it into 9 languages and it takes too long and we would never be able to keep up. Okay. But like if translating them is the problem, and you have to do extra coding work to remove the content from the JP stuff you're getting handed, wouldn't it just be better to leave the content in Japanese or translate it into one language? English probably would be the easiest one because it's the most commonly spoken outside of the games. And then like work on the translation on the side and then update the translation in the game later? Why would you just... And then people, if they really wanted to experience the content, it's there. Maybe they have to go in a Google Translate and mess around. Again, but like if it's harder to remove something than it is to, if it's harder to modify something than it is to remove it or add, why not just leave it in and then change it later? I don't know. I don't. It's so weird, and it's the reason it sucks to be in our position in the community is because we don't know how things work, so we don't know how to react when we don't get something. So if like you want your community to not be mad when they don't get something they should get, you have to explain to them why they're not getting it and the justifications, and those have to make sense. If you don't and just say nothing, we're left to our own devices. And then like on the internet where conspiracy theories will spiral out of control with like three people commenting on something, you know, in telephone, like, you know, you tell somebody something and then they tell their friend and then that friend tells a friend that you get a completely different message. That is the way it is, right? So
Somebody saying what's up B. That's a good one too. Are we okay for the polls? Okay, thank you guys. We have about 400.
oh, they picked the one I picked.
Let's see what the poll is. I guess we have D, 28%, A, 25%, B.
Okay, so they're replacing the cream puff that gets eaten with another one.
D. And then just to let you guys know, we're not.
So what's happening is we have to dodge the wasabi cream puff 3 times in a row to get a reward.
D. Okay, right.
So if Hiroki gets wasabi, we don't get an in-game reward.
All right. D. The first challenge. Oh, okay. Yay. All right. Awesome, awesome. All right. Good job, everybody. So D was safe. I actually thought, like, you know, D was kind of sketchy because, you know, D was the furthest from D. All
Okay,
right.
none of this is relevant at all.
Awesome. Are we ready? Tina, are we ready for the next? Okay, Tina, it is. Why are you cold right now?
Oh, they're not replacing it. Okay, what was the what just happened? I don't know.
Now. Okay, so we have A, B, A, B, B. So we have 3 more. I think Hiroki-san had a good point last time. Did she choose B again? C, A.
But they had 4. Then we chose the chat chose B, and then somebody ate it, and then it got replaced. I don't understand. So like this, I hope Sensar covers this on Beige Carpet. I think he will, because I think he said this last time. Like, we don't give a shit about this. This stuff is garbage. If you're gonna do this shit, put it at the end of the stream so we can all click off and leave, and like take our time back. Or make this separate. Give us an info stream once a month or once every 2 months, and give us a BS hangout and have fun with the community stream. Separate them. There are plenty of people who don't give a fuck about this crap, myself included. Look, I think, like I said, I think it's cute, but it's not why I'm here. You're just wasting my fucking time. People asking for FF14 collabs, that would be amazing. I don't know why that doesn't happen. FF14 is massively popular all over the world. It even had dethroned WoW for a couple months there in like the most played MMO. Wow, everybody was waiting for the new WoW expansion. Nobody was doing anything because usually with WoW, I guess they invalidate everything before whenever a new expansion comes out. I don't really know. I haven't played in a long time. I have no desire to. Somebody pointing out in the chat, wasabi has a specific taste, but it's actually less of that style of taste than say like horseradish is. And I would agree with that. Wasabi is very difficult to eat on its own. It's not meant to be ate on its own. You're supposed to eat it with something. You know, it's supposed to be on. You know, you grab a little bit and put it on the sushi, and it gives you that little zip. But like I said, you can take a dollop of it, put it right in your mouth. It will hurt. It will hurt you. Okay. All right. Bluffed. Bluffed. We all got bluffed. Um,
Okay. All right. Good. Good. Actually, I got tricked there for a second. All right. So
so
I
I'm
guess
wondering now, like, if we pick another one, he has to eat that one, and then does Tony have to eat the other one, the one that's remaining?
you have to totally go eat the Okay, so it's come down to this: A or C. It's a 50% chance now. All right. So we just have one more list. You know, are we ready for the question?
These could all just not be wasabi,
A or C.
and then like whoever has to eat the wasabi one can just act.
Let us know. It's a 50% chance now.
I don't know.
Yes. So if you guys just one more, if you guys get
Trolled
this
us like
right,
an off banner
then
NV. Good shit,
then
chat.
we have a special
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like,
gift for you.
this is just a waste of fucking time.
That's yeah, yes, and it's really not up to us.
Waste of time. Waste of time.
C. Some people are saying A for sure. Some
I mean, it
people
gives me
are
more
saying
chances to drink my beer. So I don't have to be talking.
So it was B last time, but yeah, they're both close. A or C.
This is just useless.
Hiroki-san's guess is that it's probably well, it's not A because it's at the very end. He's thinking that she put it somewhere in the middle. All right.
But I guess if you can't eat a spice, like if you can't eat spicy ramen, you definitely can't eat Korean
So let's see.
spicy ramen, and you probably are not gonna have a good time with wasabi. But like, there are 3 peppers that are much worse than a ball of wasabi.
Okay. Okay. So A 63%, C 36%. Okay, 420. Yes, 420 votes. Thank you so much, guys. All right. So moment of truth. A, right? So you guys chose A.
Okay, I voted for D and then C, so I'm just saying.
Oh, this is scary.
50-50?
Yes.
50-50?
Moment of truth.
I'd have a 50-50 joke here on like pulling, but we never get that good at rates.
How is it? Huh? He did it.
I mean, I tried.
Someone did it. So
I
guess
tried to
let's
get him to eat
see
it.
the one we have. Good. Good. All right. Tony has to eat now. No, I already had my share. Okay, so let's see. All right.
Oh, Tony ate the first B one. Okay.
So this is what we get. Let's go. All right.
The thing is
I
like
guess
we
have
get like even if we don't get the trivia or whatever the fuck the thing is every month, they give this to us anyway.
5-star. N W and B.
So like we just wasted what?
Pearl, and
25
C,
20 minutes? We wasted over 20 minutes.
20. And
The stream started like 5 after
like
the
it,
hour.
key is what
We wasted 20 minutes for no reason. I don't know. I just
Yes. So like basically Hiroki-san is
this is
thinking
why I didn't I used to not watch these at all. I would just not watch these and I would just watch the beige carpet afterwards, like the next day. Or like even that night, like if they do it right afterwards and it gets posted, if I'm still awake, because I work a later shift in the day, because I actually work. I'm in Eastern time in North America, and I work Pacific time, so I work 3 hours ahead of when I normally would go into work. So I have so I stay up a little later and sleep in a little later. But
you guys get more gifts.
this is just pissing me off. Like it's just wasting my time, right? I want to know about what the fuck's going on with the game. We get these once a month to know about what's going on with the game. Put what's going on with the game out in the front and put this garbage at the back end. So like once I should know when I see this stuff start to happen, community trivia or whatever the fuck, I should be able to click off and go do something else.
I guess. So that's the last C. It says eat it, eat it. Why make Tony eat it? I had my share. I'm sorry, guys. So, okay, so
So that's the one that has wasabi in it. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it could be the lighting in the studio, but the darker wasabi is much rougher in my experience. The darker it is, the more. All right, they're splitting it. All right, that's actually much better of an idea. That's much better of an idea because the less of it, the easier it is to recover from. It's really not that bad. I could eat this and be like whatever. And I do not do well against heat at all. Water doesn't help. You need milk. Water makes it worse actually. You need milk. Water is actually bad. All the water's gonna do is take the residue and just spread it around more.
Yeah, no, exactly like how Hiroki-san is saying. It's not only spicy because the cream puff is like sweet. It just tastes really bad.
They didn't take the cream out?
And that's right, actually. Water just makes it worse. We are getting comments. Thank you.
Yeah, the chat is telling you like water makes it worse. You guys should have milk.
Yes, that's true. It's actually in the morning time. Maybe it's where it's nighttime. Maybe it's nighttime. It's actually morning in Japan time. So it did wake us up though. Works better than coffee. Oh wow. Okay. So, well, we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Hiroki-san.
You are.
Okay. So Kina will get the rewards later. Okay. So I guess we'll do more rewards. I'm not exactly sure how much. So Kina and then Hiroki-san will talk about it. We'll show you the rewards towards maybe the end of the show. So please look out for that. Okay. So are you okay, Hiroki-san? Is it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, Hiroki-san. Yes, and then please come join us again in our live stream.
Feel free to invite anytime.
Yes, we will, and then we were sure we'll see him very soon again.
So thank you very much, everyone. Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So obviously this is not it. We'll be giving you the news updates right after this. Let me just go call Justin. It will be me and Justin at the second part of the show. So thank you very much. Stay tuned for the gift.
Okay, this should be reversed.
Okay,
So now they're gonna like take a break.
all right, bye.
Hiroki's gonna bounce. He's not gonna talk about any of the shit at all. He's gonna leave it to the other guys. So he's not here. So he's not here to announce anything. So Hiroki shows up to fuck around for 20 to 30 minutes. Not comment or answer questions on anything. Not announce anything. Nothing. So. Wasabi's Japanese, buddy. Sorry. I'm sorry, John. I did not see what you were saying there. But yeah, it's Japanese. I mean, I love both foods. I love wasabi as well. It's not that bad. Like I get my ass kicked by stuff like way hotter than wasabi all the time. Like Indian food, Korean food, and Thai food, like way hotter. Way hotter. What I should have been doing is I should be watching over here where my chat is. I was watching the actual window that I have it captured out of, which is not the way to do it. Ugh. The Chinese don't really do much spicy, I don't think. They have hot soup. I think the Cantonese regions do a little bit with peppers. and they do peppers on rice, but that's about it. And a lot of times the peppers they use are green, or they use bell peppers. So they use green bell peppers, or they'll use orange, red, and yellow bell peppers, which are all sweeter than more sweeter than spicy, especially when you cook them. Like if you cut the seeds out and then cook them without the seeds, like the heat is basically gone. So yeah, they don't really do a whole lot with them, to my knowledge anyway. You go into Southeast Asia though, that all changes. Or if you go over into Korea from China, that all changes. Definitely the hottest regular food I've ever even tried to eat is kimchi, which is Korean. And that shit will destroy you. You have to be hard as fuck to eat that shit. And just like walk away and continue your day. Obviously the Americans are insane, so like the ghost chili, and then the California Reaper or whatever, those are obviously worse, but they're not like actually food. You know, it's somebody engineering a pepper to be as hot as possible. And you don't just like eat a pepper. Well, you don't eat like a chili pepper. You eat a bell pepper. You can grab a bell pepper as like a fruit and just like and eat a chunk of the pepper, and it tastes fine. You're going to get some seeds in there. The seeds are very hot. But nobody just grabs a chili pepper or any form of chili pepper and just eats it. You at least roast it first, you know, which will like get a lot of the problems out of jalapenos and serranos. Habanero peppers, even roasting it doesn't do a whole lot. And obviously ghost peppers and California Reapers, I wouldn't even touch, let alone eat. But yeah, kimchi is much hotter. Thai food is almost always much hotter, and when Indian's food has spice in it, it is very much hotter. Wasabi is an accent, you know. You're never eating that much of it at once, you know. But you could. It doesn't mess people up as bad as they made it seem like. I take like half of my, every time I get sushi, I get 3 or 4 rolls. I'll take about half of the dollop that they give me, and I will dab like a little bit of wasabi, basically like a gram, like a half a gram of wasabi. So like you take your chopstick, you get like just enough on the tip. I'll dab that on every single piece that I'm gonna eat, and it gives a nice peppery zip with a little bit of heat to every bite. But you could, like I was saying, you could take that whole dollop of wasabi and throw it in your mouth, and it's gonna feel bad because it is just spicy hot. But the heat is not to the level of the hottest stuff out there, and the spice is not to the level of like some of the very very higher end spices. It's where it's like you know, bad. Like somebody in the chat said like horseradish is worse than wasabi in terms of flavor on that end of the flavor spectrum, and I 100% agree. I can't eat horseradish. It tastes like shit. But wasabi I can eat all day. So, but again, it's an accent with other stuff. You know, it's like adding pepper or a sauce, you know, to an item basically. All right, let's talk about the news. Oh yeah, did I vote today? So my favorite unit on this list is Malphasi. When I first started playing the game, she was like new-ish, and she was like a great DPS unit. And obviously Ravenheart was like one of the better STMRs, because I think like 7 stars were fairly new. So you could like double Malphasi a lot of content. And then her design is just really cool. Like, she has the crows and all that. She's a cool character, cool sprite work. And she has 2 elements that desperately need support. She has Dark and Wind. You add a third element to Malphase and basically just make a copy of Tsukiko, whether it's evoke damage or not, and you have a fucking absolutely money unit. So I am voting for Mal.
About the first about the global original unit, Lunar Festival Le Ome, which will be
Brrrah! Okay, so we're getting Lunar Cleome or Cleome.
So first of all, just like a really brief
Magic in base form, magic in buffer, and shift form. So she might be able to make use of magic katanas from Laswell and all of his copies. So they say she can buff allies. Does this mean that she has killer buffs or killer over buffs that are on percentage with other units? We don't know that. We're not gonna get numbers, I'm sure.
She has some useful utility for the team, filling the moral gauge with her abilities, increasing fire, ice, dark resistance for all allies, and decreasing damage taken from beast and demon to all allies.
Okay, so she has 2 different racial mitigations. She has 3 elements of a resistance buff. So not as good as Sylvie, who has all 8 covered with 2 different skills. Okay, see.
We've got the Sanguine Chrysanthemum. Say that 10 times fast. It is a two-handed weapon that provides.
All right, she gets 50 killer and 50 LB damage on her shirt. That's not bad. Hopefully that brings her to like an easy to cap level. She's gonna get 1,000 magic off of her weapons combined.
For the Trustmaster reward, please take a look at the screen for more information.
But making units with weapons as their STMRs is really rough, considering like you could just give her the magic sword and she would be better off. Plus, if she's supporting, you know, like 1250.
Resistance to katanas for all enemies. Boost fire damage of LB.
Okay, so she has a game stick built in where she fills morale at the beginning of the battle. Her LB Imperils Katana boosts fire. So they picked fire as her element, which is weird because she's a dark element unit, and we really need a dark support, and they're just not putting it in. We already have one of the best fire support units in Tsukiko, and we have one of the best fire Imperils in Vaughn, and we're getting a bunch of fire support that we don't need. Alright, her Magnus is remove reductions of magic, boost magic against beasts and demons for everyone, and activate. Okay, so this might be the scaling up. This could be similar to Sylvie's abilities. With the scaling up lightning and earth, but this looks like it's scaling up racial damage. Racial killer buffs. Racial killer buffs.
So its name is Instrumental Inspiration, and at level 10 it provides 130 attack. And for the vision card abilities, please take a look at the screen here for more information.
Yeah, let's give a second to check out. Oh yeah, I do see.
Okay, morale fill. Requirement FFBE unit. That card's good. It's not the best, but depending on how much morale gets filled, if it's like 60 per unit, that's pretty good. She's not premium because the card is EX1 and EX3.
Introduce ability awakenings here. So we've got EX abilities for Reno, FF7 Remake, and Legendary Hero Sephiroth.
Okay, Reno doesn't matter.
Compiled some of the information here, so let's take a.
They say other upgrades and ability awakenings added. That could change something.
Debuffs on Reno's standard form LB buff to have a longer duration.
140% lightning resistance doesn't matter. 135. One's like if he had oil like Vaughn 160, that would matter. But 140%, you're never gonna. So here's the thing: like if you're gonna take somebody just to imperil, the imperil has to be so big that it makes up for the damage they're not gonna bring, right? So like the reason you want Vaughn is because Vaughn has a 160 imperil for the element he imperils, and he has a very good break. Reno doesn't have a very good break. And he's only getting a 5 higher imperil, which is lightning, which is already covered by a bunch of lightning units with good lightning imperil. So like his either damage has to go through the roof, or he's got to have his breaks upgraded. Okay, so Sephiroth's buffs are intact. Thank fucking whatever, you know, thing you want to thank for that shit. Because without that, this would have been really bad. I don't know why you pick Cleome though.
That sounds.
And don't. She's a dark unit, locked to dark,
So let's
and
take
both.
a look here at the seasonal
Well, okay, she's ice and dark with Axstar, and then she's locked to dark on her own unit. And you make her a fire support instead of dark support. Well, we don't have dark support. We have Dark Fina, who's a medium dark support. We have Lilith, who doesn't dark support the rest of the team, only dark supports herself, and you don't make her dark support.
23.
I get it. We're gonna get like dark units soon, but like we still don't have dark support.
Event currency and use the currency to obtain various rewards, including the event exclusive equipment. And then for the equipment details,
320 MP could be good. What is this though? Is this a rod? Oh no, it's an instrument. Okay, this is all trash.
Right. So as you can see, this is another copy new here, and then yes, this is okay. So this one is the one. All right, Clash of Wills, Heir of Unknown Version.
Well, obviously it's gonna be Beast Demon because they just showed us Cleome, who had racial mitigations against Beast and Demon, and also had better killer buffs against Beast and Demon. Her Magnus buffs killers against Beast and Demon, so that obviously was gonna be Beast and Demon.
yeah, we might be going a little.
And I guess since this is a Fire Ice Dark, Cleome will have Fire Ice Dark support. Well, we know she has Fire support. We don't know if she has Ice and Dark support. She has Fire, Ice, and Dark resist buffs. Ooh. Guess what a unit having resist buffs does until Sylvie is crept out of the meta? Nothing. You just bring Sylvie instead. Even if the... Oh, and it's a demon, so Sylvie has Overkiller for demon. So, like, right? Demon Stone and something else? Insect? Something like that? So you're still bringing Sylvie to this.
The important part here is that Heir would actually buff itself and increase the strength as its HP.
Yeah, no competent dark support in chat. I like that.
Start healing itself. So yeah, that's one tricky part about.
They changed Fire Dark to Fire, yeah. Cleome's a dark unit. Like, if you want to give Cleome Fire support, okay. But why take her dark? Why would you not give her dark support? Like, she's a dark unit in both of her appearances. We already have Fire support in Sakiko. Like, we don't need... I get it if you don't want to give her 3 elements. I get that. But, like, don't... Why give her one of the elements we already have?
I'll give you guys a few minutes here, yeah, to hear as well, because there's a lot of information here as well. But this is about the exchange shop for Clash of Wills, and then from here on, we are going to give you guys an updated version of the existing Clash of Wills equipment.
Called it.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a minute to take
I
a look.
fucking called that we would not get a new item. Called it. I called it weeks ago. Over a month ago, I called that we would not get a new item. All we're getting is an evocation version and a Magister's version that has more. Okay, so they're just buffing the amount of stats that you get on the stuff that we already have. So let's pull this up real quick here. We're getting 10 more stats. Each one of these is getting a 10 more stat buff. And we're probably going to have to pay Xenostone for it. It's probably going to be a... Oh, yeah, it's plus. Look, they're putting a plus on the end of everything. And they're adding 10 more base stats. That's all they're adding. It's already 500. What's the morale fill? Let me see if the morale fill... Is the morale fill going up? No. Morale fill is the same. That's the same. You're going to have to pay Xenostone to get 10 more stat on your robe. Now, maybe this is every single item, but I don't know why they're showing 3 robes if it's every single item. But I fucking called it. I fucking called it. We will not get a new item. I was right. I knew it. I fucking knew it, man. I know what these companies are going to do. Okay, so that's Fravia. which I think I already have a DX3. Ricard, I don't have a DX3, and Louise, I definitely don't have a DX3. Where's Ricard at? Ricard is here. Okay, so I have Ricard. It's... Alright, so I only need one Ricard and 20 shards. Freya, I'm pretty sure I have DX3. Let's take a look. Yeah, and then some. And then Louise, I definitely don't have a DX3. Oh my god. Something useful. So I can buy 2 Louises and have a DX3. Now this is something decent. So for 2 weeks, you're going to be able to do daily fragment twice a day. I mean, it's going to drain your energy because you're going to have to keep resetting over and over again to get a good rate, but we're already doing that as it is. Okay, login bonuses. We're getting a bunch of extra lapis. That's more than we normally would get for logging in. The rest of the shit's garbage, but 3K lapis for logging in is good. Over 2 weeks. That's better than the normal rate. Double entry to daily fragment dungeon is something players deserve. And then that's it. We're not getting actual news, guys. Hey, we didn't fuck up the upgrades. And you're going to get double fragment dungeons starting next week. For 2 weeks. That's the news. That's it. Let's see if the Q&A actually answers any real questions.
Similar to the Neovision class strike.
They said yes before to this question, by the way.
All right. So this is the answer that we got from the project team. So yes, the team did add an ability affected by morale to the new Vision Cloud Stripe. I think we mentioned this in the last live stream. So this was given to Stripe.
This is a non-answer. I literally already read both paragraphs in like 10 seconds. It's a non-answer. No. The short answer to this question is no. It says all, so it leaves the door open. Like it tries to leave the door open for you, right? Like it says we're not going to add it to all JP units, but sometimes when we have to sell it to you, we might do it. That's what they're saying. That's literally what this. Don't read this. Don't read this response. This response is useless. The top paragraph says no, that was a special exception. The bottom paragraph says we don't plan on doing it very often. But if we have to sell you a unit that's fucking expensive and that we need to sell, we will. That's what this says. They didn't think they were going to sell as many copies of Materia Hunter Yuffie as they thought of Cloud, which is why Cloud got the ability and Yuffie did. This is terrible. This is a very, very bad sign for the future of Global. Like, again, we can't comment on JP. I'm sure JP is doing just fine. This is very bad for Global. This is... We're going to milk you for everything we possibly can without giving you the quality in return for your money that you're going to spend. That's bad.
Yeah. It was on the screen very quickly. Of course. So, legendary hero Sephiroth here. So, the damage for Purging Blade and Boundless Void will be increased. And the
Yeah, and they do. This is the second one that only did one question. It's like, how many people work in this office? 6? Is it like 2 coders, Justin and Tony, the girl we saw before at the front desk, and Hiroki? Is that who's fucking working? Because if like there's 100,000 of us buying a Lapis bundle, fountain every week, and like, or sometimes a Crest Pass, let alone the whales that spend their money all the time, it feels like there's a staff of like 10 people or less at this company. Like, and then there's got to be 2 guys that are overworked as hell translating everything. It's like French and Russian and all that shit, and Portuguese. So like, what the fuck is going on? Why do you have a monthly live stream to give us basically no news? It just, it's not even it's not even that I think they're doing this intentionally.
So yes,
I
actually,
think they're this out of touch. They just don't
well, yes.
pay attention to the community
Questions this
the
time. So
way the
basically,
person who used to do this job did.
we'll keep the live stream open for like an extra few minutes, 5 minutes. So please hit us up with some questions.
Everything that they bring in to satiate you
And yes, that is
is
something
bait.
that I do. Is I go
IAs are bait. Chamber of the Vengeful editions, bait.
All right. So
The cloud ability getting added in, bait.
before we forget,
It's
Tina, do we have
the game is in the global version of the game. People is in maintenance mode.
so if you guys remember
All it's gonna do from now until
we had
it's not feasibly possible to do it anymore from a financial standpoint is bare minimum effort bringing JP stuff over to global
all right. So
and
a reward that got bumped up.
Clash of Wills. And like the two people that work on Clash of Wills, if they screw up, you're on your own. Maybe you get a nerf in the middle of the week, maybe you get a fix in the middle, like the between the 2 weeks. And maybe you just don't, like we didn't get one for the last one in December, where it was just really, really bad. And since it was holiday time, they just were like, deal with it. Don't get your Xenostone. Too bad.
Okay, yes. So, thank you, Kina. Thank you, Hiroki-san.
And dude,
I was able to
I went free to play after Nier because they've been dropping the ball, and I don't see them picking it back up. They just will not give you any indication that they're going to pick the ball back up. It's on the ground, it's losing air.
And obviously, we would want to give
This is it.
more Q&A sections as well.
Yeah, obviously we want to, but like the suits won't let us. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are we even doing this live stream then? Just put the PowerPoint up on fucking Twitter. Take the 4 screenshots. What's Twitter? Four images per tweet. Make a tweet with the first 4 slides. Reply to that tweet with the second 4 slides, and just fucking post the tweets, man. Ugh.
She has to.
We had a lot of comments. All right,
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to BS. What the fuck was that, man? What the fuck was that? New unit. Not going to put in the game what you need. We're going to give you fire support that you already have. A bunch of garbage gear. No details on any event coming. Just the Clash. Here's the Clash information you already have. Here's what the Clash boss looks like, but none of the mechanics. Hey, we didn't delete Reno and Sephiroth's buffs. And we're going to confirm to you that the adding a Clash of Wills buff to a unit from JP is something we're only going to do in very rare circumstances when it, is a unit we need to sell a ton of you to, because it's like premium and it's like also like, a main character that everybody loves. So like Cloud or fucking Locke maybe will get. I mean, I don't even know. They probably don't even think he's popular, right? They don't think characters that are popular in the West are popular. Like, who's like a quintessential Final Fantasy character that's always going to get the best of everything and always going to have the most dap thrown behind him? Cloud's probably number 1, right? Do they think, does Square Enix think that like Final Fantasy 10, 12, and 15 were like massively successful in the US and Canada and like Europe? Because they weren't. They were like mediocre. We made money, but like nowhere near to the level of money we made with like 6, 7, and 8. Nowhere near the amount of money we make with Final Fantasy 14. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I mean, it's just that this is reality. I've been talking about this for 2 months now, and this is the state of the game. Like we will not get what we want. We will not get what we need, and yeah, that's and you're just gonna have to either deal with it and keep playing, or find something else to do. That's where we are, and I feel bad because like anniversary last year, I was able to get like one person to come back to playing the game, and maybe I got like another person or two to like check it out, and like it's just been like fumble after fumble ever since. Like they have not put a foot right outside of doing what JP servers have had for forever. So they finally made Shard Dungeon permanent. They brought the two-handed weapons over, but fucked us out of the Dark Matter rewards that we didn't get for the last 2 years, so that we couldn't buy two weapons on when they came out. I guess JP doesn't even have new Dark Matter weapons, which is like makes me worried about JP's status as well. They're putting in this new leader skill mechanic because it's probably one of the easiest things to code, and like that's how they can creep power up without like coding a bunch of extra shit. And it just like has all of the red flags of a game on the massive decline. I'm not a doom and gloom guy, okay? I don't want to be negative, but I cannot ignore what I see with my eyes and what I hear with my ears and the bullshit that I can smell. And I've not seen anything from Gumi in the last 9 months that makes me confident that this game will actually be actively supported past this year. Okay? I thought 2 more years, and then it'll probably start winding down into a once a month update. Do that for a year and then end service. Or maybe like do that for a year, then no updates for a year, and then end service. I think with the game effectively dead with nothing being done. You know, similar to like every game out there. Square is actually very, very bad. They have a very poor record at launching games like this and then canceling them out of nowhere. Thankfully, Brave Exvius did well enough in the first 3 or 4 years to where they will not abruptly end this, and also it's not published in house. Like it's not developed in house. It's published by them, developed by these other companies, Alum, Gumi, or whatever, right? So Square has their own games, a couple of mobile games, which they've already launched as live support models, and then canceled and ended service of within a year, or like with like a year or a couple extra months, like. So, and it's not just on mobile, like the same thing on console and everything. So, and they're still committed to NFTs. They're still committed to all this bullshit, and they are turning this game into an NFT, selling like, hey, here's pixel art of your favorite characters. Buy it so that you can not own it for forever. That's why I took my money out of this equation. You cannot play this game and spend money on it right now. It is literally lighting it on fire. I started to like, I've never really invested like a massive amount in this. I put too much money into a couple Korean games I played before this that were grindier, and I used to get a lot more out of the games because I would sit at work all day for 8 hours and I would have nothing to do on my work computer. So like my phone would be like what I would do on downtime. But like now that we work from home, and now that I'll probably never have a job again where I don't work from home at least 90% of the time, my regular PC is right next to me. So in downtime, I can play like Baldur's Gate 2. I can play old retro randomizers with the pause button. I can even, like, if I'm going on my lunch and I like already ate, I can like play a couple rounds of Dark Tide. I can do this. I can do some dailies in an MMO. I don't need my phone to entertain me during my work downtime anymore. So like the actual spending of the money in a mobile game was justifiable to me because it was like, all right, well, I'm getting entertainment. I'm getting like 8 hours of entertainment a day, almost, you know, because most jobs that I do, I'm autopilot. Like I figure out what you need to do. I maximize the efficiency of it. And like, I just, you know, I go blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, I do most of the stuff. Like when I hit a button on BE to like auto, then I go turn my computer, I do 3 or 4 tasks, and then I come back, the auto's finished, I click the button, I go next, right? If I'm getting hours and hours and hours of mental stimulation from the game per week, and now I don't. And if the game is still in a very good place, it feels great to donate some money to the game to keep the lights on and to keep that train rolling for the people that play it more often and so on and so forth. But like, that's not the state that the game's been in, and you don't get improvements without pulling your money away. And sometimes when you pull your money away, you don't get improvements at all, period. That's the actual gambling problem with products like this. So sometimes you pull your money out, the company responds with something very good, makes things a lot better, and it gives you a reason to put your money back in. Good examples of this are Final Fantasy XIV, No Man's Sky. There's more. You know, so on and so forth. There's great examples. Then there's other poor examples. There's poor examples like every fucking live service game that's not, you know, that's dead now. You know, you go into a live service game, it's terrible. You ask for fixes. The devs don't give you fixes. You pull your money out. They don't fix anything. Game shuts down. So like that's part of the way things work. You have to be willing to do that. If you get emotionally attached to a product, which I'm not emotionally attached to Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, okay? Not at all. I'm emotionally attached to the community because I like the community a lot. I like the people that make up the community. Like I said, I will probably stop playing this game at some point. Obviously, it's not going to last for forever. I will follow those people to whatever game they decide to play next, even if I'm not a huge fan of the game that most of them decide to go to play, because I like the people a lot. And, you know, that's what I'm emotionally attached. That's what you need to do. Make sure that you don't get emotionally attached to certain things, especially things that are fleeting. You can get emotionally attached to a physical, tangible product, a video game that you have the disc for, like a piece of trading card. You know, like you can get emotionally attached to this because this physically can still have some value later on. But your units in the game, they have no value. As soon as service ends, they're gone. They're not even yours. So even if they have no value, they have no potential to be valuable. And you don't even get to enjoy them as a memory because it's taken from you. So you just can't invest money into this when it's on a downslope. You have to make them turn upwards again before you reward them. Otherwise, it will never turn upwards. It just won't. And the game, I don't think there's anybody that cares enough about the game in this office to push for it to get better. I think there was a person in that office. That person is no longer there. And it's not the only reason that things are the way they are right now, but it's a huge contributing factor. And it's multiplied. The negativity is multiplied by us not being communicated to properly. And a lot of that comes from that person not being there. So, yeah, I guess in closing, before we wrap this up and post it on over to YouTube, is again, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna tell you that this turd smells like potpourri and it's a beautiful thing. These live streams are bad. You need to separate the BS from the game updates. And if the game updates are going to be the exact same info we're going to get in the news drop in 2 days afterwards, they're not going to talk about stuff in the future. They're not going to talk about the game's philosophy and their policies and what we can expect to see, from JP coming in and what they're going to adjust. If they're not going to address any of that, they're absolutely useless and they're a waste of time. So I will not be streaming the next one. I'll just watch Beige Carpet on my couch and enjoy myself, listening to 3 or 4 or 5 people talk about it that are cool. There are people in the community that I like to be around, that I like to take in their content and enjoy their content and reward them, with my clicks and my Twitch subs and my whatever. And I'm going to keep my money in my pocket and do something else with it. But yeah, I won't just stop covering the game, because there isn't really an everyman covering the game. Like, there's not like a person that's like mediocre that does like a weekly update that, kind of gives you like the perspective of like, I think I can give you. I think the podcast is good. I think a lot of the content creator stuff is good. The problem is I have a lot of issues with the way the content creators index the content and present the content to you, but it doesn't mean the content isn't good. Like, the content is good. I think it's not indexed properly in a lot of cases, and it's not broad enough to hit a lot of the community that's like below the top 10% of players, which I think is another issue. I see that in a lot of games I try to get into. Like, there's not really like a pipeline to learning. There's like follow me and copy this, and the problem is that copying this only works if the person has all the same tools you do, and that is very, very rarely the case, especially if their accounts are newer, or they don't have as much money to dump into the game, or they have worse luck on their gacha, and so on and so forth, right? So I think what I do has some value, not a ton, but a little bit. So I'm going to keep doing it, even though it's not fun. Sometimes it's good to have something as a disciplinary like pillar in your life. Like, sometimes it's good to like read a book even if you're not enjoying it once a week. Sometimes it's good to do what I do on Wednesdays, which is talk about this game, post a video, and just do it just to make sure that like you're getting things done, right? Like, you're like mentally, even though the thing you're talking about you're not enjoying at the moment, you're committing to something, you're staying on schedule, you're staying on task, you're patting yourself in the back that you're able to fulfill an obligation that you took on. You're not giving up, you're not quitting, so on and so forth, right? So I'm going to continue to do that kind of stuff, but I will not hold my tongue. I will not sugarcoat it for you. And I don't know if that's going to be better or worse for the actual game. Who knows? It probably has no influence whatsoever. But I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to shy away from the truth. I'm not going to add emotion into it. I'm going to make sure that we stay objective. We look at what we see from the game and from the developers. We call out the garbage. We offer sensible solutions to this, so we're not just whining. We have a valid complaint. A valid complaint consists of potential solutions, or being open to a solution from the person that or the entity that is causing the grief, right? Whining is like a woe is me. Why don't they fix this? Why don't they do this when the doing this thing is irrational, right? That's whining. I'm not into whining. I'm into complaints. Complaints make sense. Complaints go, well, this X is screwed up and this Y is screwed up. So why don't we try Z to fix those things? If Z doesn't work because of contingency A, B, and C, then come up with ideas D, E, and F, present them to the community, and then maybe we can find a middle ground. Maybe we can help you. Maybe we can modify that. That's what it's about. Okay, that's how you get things to improve. So I'll continue to rally and wave this flag that wants us to improve the game and have a better product so that it is more profitable, that it does generate more revenue. But like I can't at the same time open my wallet and like invest in something that has no return value whatsoever anymore, and that does not provide me the same amount of entertainment. Like I have no problem spending money on entertainment. I love live concerts. I love going to the bar and drinking a couple of local brewskis. I love comedy, live stand-up comedy. Like the reason you pay money is you go, you have an experience, you have a memory, you had a good time while you were there, and like it is there. And it's not maybe tangible in the same way that like owning a physical copy of a video game is, owning a piece of cardboard, or whatever. But at least it's a significant enough of experience or unique enough of experience that you can remember it. You can even take photos in a lot of places, or like you can document your experience. But when this game is gone, all we'll have are these old YouTube videos and a Reddit that's dead. And maybe you'll have your screenshots. You won't have anything that you can go back and look at. And you'll have those memories. But the thing is like the rate at which you get bled for those memories is just so much higher than what it takes. Like, so my local comedy club. It's $35 to see a very, very big, like the biggest acts. The tickets are still like $35 unless you're like right up on top of the stage. Those might be a little bit more. They want you to spend more than $35 a month on this game. They want you to buy a Fountain Lapis, a Crest Pass, and at least one $47.99 bundle a month. Whether it's the Clash or the DV unit or the flavor or whatever. At least they're trying to get a lot more out of you than that. But like if you look at like what that actually equates to over the course of like 12 months and like over what you make in a year, it's kind of crazy. They expect you to invest this much money with no possibility of tangible return whatsoever, right? So like, if I buy a bunch of like Pokemon cards, there's a chance that if I hang on to a lot of the good ones, or I hang on to some sealed boxes, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, I can maybe sell those and make 10, 20, 30%. Is that as good as like an investing in a stock? Probably not. Is it more consistent? Is it safer because you have a tangible thing? Probably. There's lots of other things you can weigh into that, right? But bottom line, what they're asking you to put in and what they're giving you back is a bad deal. The value is not there. No matter how much attachment you have to these characters and the franchises, especially since the characters you're attached to and the franchises you love get the worst treatment. The mainline games get jack. Where's Tactics? Where's 14? Why do we have 5-7 collabs and 4 Final Fantasy 10 collabs? Where's the good units from 2? Where's the good units from 5? Where are they? Some series just get zero support, and they ask you to keep dumping cash, and they give you nothing in return. So like, I'm not going to for a single second ignore that or downplay that fact. And whenever we see some BS, we're calling it out. It is what it is. If people don't like it, that's too bad. When they're asking for you to invest a bunch of your time and your money, you have the right to evaluate whether or not it's worth it. And right now, I don't feel the support from the staff. I don't feel that the product is good, and the monetization is bad. So we will continue to cover those things. We will continue to, evaluate them, and we will reiterate the stances. And if things change, they change. If we have good stuff, we'll acknowledge it. Like double Shard Dungeon for 2 weeks is awesome. It's something they should run way more often. They should do it once every 2 or 3 months. Like they used to before. So that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. I don't think JP has that, but that's not enough. It's obviously not enough. We'll continue to call out the stuff, and hopefully this community stays together, and whenever that last ride comes, hopefully most of the people here decide to go to the same place together, to a new location, or get involved in something similar. And I don't think it's going to be War of the Visions, but maybe there'll be something new coming that hopefully is not even published by Square, but maybe like something that we could all get behind, because Square just doesn't seem to be able to lend enough support to these other companies to really make something quality and sustain it. But yeah, I just hope the community stays together. I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, I like the community. I like what's going on with the people in the community. I just hope that the game gets better. I hope that they listen to the community. But I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe we're too close to a very successful collab. Maybe we need 2 or 3 months of absolute abysmal revenue for them before they decide to start changing it. And maybe we get a strong lead up into anniversary. We get another strong anniversary, and maybe that turns it around. Who knows? You never know. But we had a very strong anniversary last year. It was the strongest anniversary, I think, in the history of the game. And the premium unit we ended up getting from that ended up being completely garbage and power crept out after a month. And like he's literally just there for one ability now, which is on other characters that can do the same thing. And after they had that, they were riding high. They had 7 months of just absolute abject failure ever since. They've had 1 or 2 wins and dozens upon dozens of losses. And it doesn't look good. The future doesn't look good. I hope it turns around. I'm not going to cover these live streams anymore until they start actually providing good information and respecting people's time. So that's what this video is going to end right here. If you were watching live on Twitch, you would actually see us try to get a decent score on DV. As you can see up here, I'm using a strat from another content creator, probably the MVP of content creators in this community, Sinzar. I will link to this strat in the video down below. But you can also get a link to my stream down below, so if you want to come watch us live, if you want to watch our taping of the weekly live show every Wednesday night, come on by. Every Sunday we do something kind of like, you know, whatever's fun, whatever the hot thing is at the moment, and then we do some bonus streams during the week depending on, like, you know, what's going on, how tired I am or I'm not from work, and so on and so forth. So if you want to check out anything live, please join us over there. Appreciate you guys for checking out this on YouTube, and make sure to scroll on down to the description, head on over to Gert's channel, hit the subscribe button over there. I think he recently hit 1K subscribers, so very nice there. But you want to make sure that every time one of these live streams happens, you are subscribed to his channel, because he has the Beige Carpet, which is a conversation between him and several of the top content creators or like top spending players that have, like, you know, been playing the game since the beginning and never wavered. And then some special guests, they'll come on, they'll talk about what you just saw. You'll get a lot of different perspectives all at the same time, and it's a really great thing to watch. And it gives you, like, you know, a much wider view of, and a much wider scope of, like, what different kinds of players of this game are thinking when they see stuff like this in the news updates and so on. So definitely check those things out, and I will see you on the opposite side of this one. We will be back on Wednesday. Maybe we'll have more information on the news on Wednesday, and we'll take a look, as this week was a dead week. So tune in for that. This week in Brave Exvius on Wednesday. We'll see you guys next time.